We are glad to welcome you to our channel. Kindly subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and relations. And click on the bell icon for instant notification whenever new videos are uploaded on this channel. Rest assured that we are going to have a very exciting and inspiring discussion. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Hello everyone. In today's lesson, we are going to look at types of sentences based on structure. Our focus will be on the structural classification of sentences. So come with me as we dive into the lesson. I am Benjamin from English Classes Online. We want to begin with the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to do the following. 1. Explain the meaning of a sentence. 2. List and explain the various types of sentences based on their structures. And 3. Give copious examples of each type of sentence. What is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. And that is why when we speak in sentences. When we write in sentences in order to communicate complete ideas. Examples. My uncle painted his house. This is a complete thought. Rose bought a new bag. Junior and his friends are playing outside. These are examples of sentences. Now let's look at types of sentences at a glance. We want to look at the 4 basic types. Of course, there could be up to 6 of them, but in this lesson, I want us to examine the 4 basic ones. Number 1, simple sentences. Number 2, compound sentences. Number 3, complex sentences. And number 4, compound complex sentences. So let's take them one by one. Number 1, simple sentences. A simple sentence consists of only one independent clause and has a subject and a verb. It expresses a complete thought and is punctuated by a period, that is a full stop. Examples. John is playing tennis. Henry kicked the ball. Rose is a brilliant girl. These are all simple sentences. And when you look at the structure of a simple sentence, you will discover that each of them has a subject. Okay, in this sentence 1, John is the subject. Then it has a verb. Is the verb here. And then, well, something is being missed here. Let's take it again. John is the subject. Is playing is the verb. Is playing is a compound verb. Then tennis is the object. So we have subject, verb, object. Now the 2 mandatory parts of a sentence are the subject and the verb. Some people break the sentence into 2, the subject and the predicate, or you may say the subject and the verb. Okay? You look at all the other structures, they have similar components. So in example 1, John is the subject and is playing is the verb. The sentence is a simple sentence as it contains only one independent clause. An independent clause is also known as a main clause. That is a clause that can stand on its own and that is why it can constitute a simple sentence. This now takes us to number 2, compound sentences. What is a compound sentence? A compound sentence consists of two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Examples of coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Now, of course, we use the acronym fanboys. Well, let's put the acronyms here. F for, A for and, N for no, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, S for so. So you can see when you want to, remember the coordinating conjunctions, you can simply say fanboys, and the beginning of each word will give you each coordinating conjunction. The F in fan stands for, the A in and, of course, stands for and. Okay, fanboys. The A in fanboys stands for and, the N stands for no, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so, fanboys. Okay, so let's continue to look at examples. We want to look at examples of compound sentences. I love watching movies, but I prefer reading books. So here, let's actually look at, this is the first clause. We can call this main clause 1. Okay, which ends here. This is the coordinating conjunction. We can call this CC, coordinating conjunction. And this is MC2, that is main clause 2. So you have two main clauses, which we can call independent clauses. Okay? So a compound sentence consists of two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. So that's exactly the way it is. So let's look at other examples. Samson was physically strong, but he was morally weak. Jane came back from school and cooked the evening meal. In the example, the first clause is I love watching movies. That's in that first example, example I. The first clause is I love watching movies. We call this MC1. And the second clause is I prefer reading books. We call this MC2. Both clauses are independent, that is, they are main clauses, and can stand alone as simple sentences. The conjunction but joins both clauses, making it a compound sentence. So I hope you understand now what is meant by a compound sentence. So let's now move on to the third type of sentence, which is called the complex sentence. What is a complex sentence? A complex sentence consists of one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. A dependent clause contains a subject and a verb, but it cannot stand alone as a sentence. The name dependent means it has to depend on the main clause in order to form or express a complete thought. Otherwise, it is incomplete. Let's look at examples. Example I, when the sun sets, the birds stop chirping. All right. Now, when the sun sets is the subordinate clause here. So let's again analyze this sentence. When the sun sets, we can call this subordinate clause, SC, or DC, dependent clause, whichever name you want to call it. Then the birds stop chirping is the main clause. So here we have main clause. So we have subordinate clause and a main clause combining to form a complex sentence. Now let's look at other examples. The match will be cancelled if it rains. The match will be cancelled is the main clause. If it rains is the subordinate clause. You will notice that one clause can stand alone. The match will be cancelled can form a complete sentence. If it rains is a subordinate clause or a dependent clause because it cannot convey complete meaning. The next one, unless you work hard, you will not pass your exams. The subordinate clause is unless you work very hard, you will not pass your exams is the main clause. Now, in the first example, the independent clause is the birds stop chirping, and the dependent clause is when the sun sets. The dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence because if you say when the sun sets, if that is the only thing you can say to an audience, they will surely ask you what you mean by that, all right, because it is incomplete. When the sun sets, then what happens? The birds stop chirping, all right? So the dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence and requires the independent clause to provide a complete thought. And that is what we see in each of these complex sentences. We now move on to the last but not the least one, and that is the compound complex sentences. A compound complex sentence consists of two or more dependent clauses and one or more, that is, two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Let's look at examples. After I finish my work, I'll go to the gym and I'll meet my friends for dinner. So when we analyze this, after I finish my work, this is the subordinate clause. I'll go to the gym is one main clause. So we can call this MC1 since we have another one. Then this is a coordinating conjunction and I'll meet my friends for dinner is main clause 2. So in this sentence, we have two main clauses. MC1 and MC2 are main clauses. Then we have one subordinate clause, which is SC here. Now, when we look at main clause 1 and main clause 2, they are joined together by CC, which is a coordinating conjunction, and I'll go to the gym and I'll meet my friends for dinner. Together, these two main clauses joined by and constitute what we call the compound sentence, which we earlier saw. And then once we add a subordinate clause to a compound clause, we have compound complex sentences. So this is why it is called compound complex sentences, because you have one compound sentence and then you add a feature of the complex sentence, which is at least one subordinate clause, and then you have the compound complex sentence. Okay, let's look at other examples. Mary returned from school and cooked the evening meal after she had rested for a while. Mary returned from school is one main clause and is a subordinating conjunction. Cook the evening meal is another main clause. So we have MC1, MC2 here. After she had rested for a while is a subordinate clause. Example 3 or III, the House met and approved the budget which the governor has sent to them the previous week. The House met is main clause 1 and approved the budget, main clause 2, which the governor has sent them the previous week is the subordinate clause. So that is exactly the way it is. And if we take a second look at example I, the sentence contains 2 independent clauses and 1 dependent clause. We already have this MC1, MC2. They are the 2 independent clauses that constitute a compound sentence. And then we have 1 dependent clause. This is SC, subordinate clause. After I finish is the dependent clause, and I will go to the gym and I'll meet my friends for dinner are independent clauses. The conjunction and joins the 2 compound complex sentence. Okay, so that's why you have a compound complex sentence, and then you have an element of the subordinate, the complex sentence. Okay. Okay, so let's now sum up quickly. In conclusion, we have learned about the 4 types of sentence structures: simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and compound complex sentences. We have also seen examples of each type of sentence. Understanding the different sentence structures can help you to write effective sentences which can convey a clear message to your reader or to your audience. So, and this is where I will draw the curtain on today's lesson. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comment section below. See you in the next class. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video.